Welcome to Driving Immersion. This is the immersive racing experience. Studio 397's Le Mans Ultimate is the best detailed simulation of the World Endurance Championship. We are racing in Le Mans Ultimate using as much of its simulation factors to be as close to the WEC racing as possible. Drive from the cockpit using a Fanatec CSL DD Plus wheel and load cell pedal set without any assists except for what exists in the car. There are collisions and damage, tire wear and fuel use, including virtual energy. We are now basking under the sun at the Bapco Energies 8 Hours of Bahrain for the full World Endurance Championship experience. Give us a like and click on subscribe now so that you don't miss out on any of it. Volume up and let's go. Through a very slow turn 1, we accelerate briskly out of 2 and 3 onto our first straight. As we approach turn 4, we're going to brake very hard again, very slow right-hander. And we will hit the curb there on the right, and we will come out on the curb on the left. Accelerate out again into turn 5 to the left here, very slightly. And then turn 6 here to the right. Downhill into turn 7. And we want to place ourselves correctly here as we are going to brake hard again into a very slow, very tight right-hander in turn 8. Accelerate up the hill, trying to maintain our traction. Crest over into turn 9 as we go downhill into turn 10. Again, another very slow left-hander. And it is a tightening radius turn here into turn 10, which opens up to a medium length straight here where we're going to make a lot of time. Now on the Formula 1 circus, this would be the second DR red zone. Coming into turn 11, a very wide left-hander, and you are going to find yourself out here on the curb to the right. Accelerate out while you stay right, and turn left into 12. Turn 13 here, we're going to be in 5th gear, and we're going to lift off the throttle just so that the front tires can have a little bit grip. And after that signboard on the right disappears, we're going to start braking very hard into turn 13, which opens up onto a straight. And we are going to approach turn 14 and 15, which are the final corners of the circuit here at Bahrain. Turn 14 will be a very tight right-hander as well, but 15 is a very slight right-hander. And it does open up onto the main straight. Here we are. We're going to brake very hard at the 150 meter mark, way before this banner over the track. And then we are going to ride over the curb there to the right and exit very far to the left on the apron. And just up ahead on the right, that is the entrance into pit lane. And we found out through practice that that first line that we just crossed right now is the hard braking zone to get into pit lane. So now green flag, and the race is underway for the 8 hours of Bahrain. Very slow and crowded here in the turn 1, and we're going to stay back. This is the number 93 Puegeot that we chose for this race. A very easy car to set up for any track and achieve a very good time. Also modeled very well here on the interior, as we're able to see the rear view mirror and the steering wheel all on the same screen. And you'll notice here at the 8 Hours of Bahrain that we do now have Track IR fully implemented here in Le Mans Ultimate. And we did have to wait a whole year for that to be implemented here, as we use Track IR in the F1 series as well as the R Factor 2 platform. Riding briefly there with the BMW just behind us in the number 93. Mars Medina into turn 11. And turn 11 is actually very complex, as you'll want to be carrying enough speed there to go in through the S's. Out of turn 13, we're approaching 14 again. Now there is a yellow on the course. There is a car on the apron to the left. Couldn't quite tell who it was. There is one of the BMWs who got around us. Again, very high detail here at Le Mans Ultimate with the cars and the course here at Bahrain. We have now been updated to the 2025 season liveries for all of the cars. And you can see there the placement of the car on the course and in the race. The number 93 Puegeot, again, which we are following today, is in 17th place currently, so second from last in the hypercar class. Again, a very slow turn 8 as we accelerate out. Brake very hard and fight for grip here to exit out of turn 10. Again, very slow. Right underneath the number 99 Porsche, and he's going to be able to keep his place as we are racing with him into turn 14. There we are, and that is turn 15. Again, very slight right, just out of the corner of 14. Jostling around into turn 1 in the number 93. You'll notice here in the race here at Bahrain that the competition is a little bit closer. The racing is going to be a little bit closer. We did turn up the difficulty and we did increase the damage just a little bit. Not as long as the Le Mans series, but we are going to limit this to each stint. Just could not stop the car there. And we bump into the number 99 Proton Porsche as we are struck from behind. And I believe that may have been one of the Porsches or one of the BMWs that struck us. And that brings us to one thing that we'd like to see here in Le Mans Ultimate, is that if there is a collision that is going to cause damage to the vehicle, that it should pop up on screen. Right now the HUD that you're seeing there is only partial, and in fact it's not even a clear display because there are tabs at the very top of your screen that still appear here in Le Mans Ultimate, and they should be disappearing in order to simulate the broadcast that you would be watching as a spectator. So back to the number 93, getting used to watching the white livery of the Puegeot. We've been accustomed to watching the black livery of the Toyota in the Le Mans series. Coming out of turn 2 and 3 now. And that is the car just ahead of us, the Cadillac of Earl Bamber, as he spins coming into turn 4. And we do see him in the background, able to get back underway, or at least get the car moving. So he should be back in the race. Again, these hypercars are actually very heavy, and they are very dependent on downforce. So in these slow corners where there's no air pushing it down, there's just not a lot of grip, and you do depend on your tires in order to maintain the car on the track. Here is a very slow turn 11. You can see there that we just understeer all the way out, end up spinning in the number 93, and we are struggling to get it back on track and maintain our position or something close to it. And I believe we have been relegated to 15th place. Still not too bad, as we did start the race in last place in the hypercar class. Just up ahead, that is Earl Bamber, who just earlier spun around, and we got around him. And now we are looking at him from behind, as he was able to get back around us. So as we are circling the track here, our strategy was to put on a set of the hard tires and give them a lot of air, about 23.5 pounds or so, as a precaution to this very warm afternoon here in Bahrain. But right now, on the very slow turns, it has been understeering quite a bit, so there's just not enough grip. And there we are. And there's Earl Bamber spinning around again into turn 8, and we did get around him, almost coming off the track and onto the apron on the exit. Out of turn 11, we are now racing with the gorgeous Alpine, the number 35 here. That is the other car that we were considering driving for this race, as it has a very nice engine note. But we did want to experience the Puegeot here again. Very easy to set up and race around and achieve a very good time. Nose to tail coming into turn 4, and Earl Bamber is back in the hunt in the Cadillac. He is the third car that you see here in the picture with the red front bumper. And if you don't remember, just last year the Puegeot was actually driving a Porsche. This year they have moved on to Cadillac. There is the number 93, very wide out of turn 10. Just barely able to keep his place here in front of the Alpine. Here is another look at turn 11 again. Very slow and just letting the car slide out. So right now in the number 93, we are fighting for grip. These hard tires are very slippery now, And I believe in just the short time that we've been on the track, they may have become overheated and they are not able to grip as well. We did drive with them just for a little bit during the practice session, but this is not the same experience that we had. Locking up once again, coming into turn 1. That is turn 2, and we're going to drive over the curb. Again, as we accelerate out into the short straight into turn 4. There is Earl Bamber with a fast Cadillac getting around the Alpine very easily down the main straight. And now racing with the number 93. And there is a big hit from the Puegeot to the number 93. Again, coming into turn 8, a very slow right-hander. And obviously he had more speed than us. And that is the inside look at turn 10. With the number 93 now falling behind the Alpine. So we are watching Earl Bamber taking off very quickly here, even though he's had a couple of spins already in the race. And you would imagine that maybe he was having problems with the car or the tires. But right now he is driving very fast. In just a handful of corners he has put on 2 seconds. Again, through turn 1, just not enough braking. We do need to cut a little bit closer to the apex on the right, but we are very, very far and under braking, and that's usually... There is the number 35 Alpine doing a little spin out of turn 4. Still on the apron, there he is, able to get back in the race. So right now, a lot of cars fighting for grip. Having a look at the shadows, that sun is still pretty much overhead, so it would still be very warm on the track. Again, a few cars here having a little bit of a problem with perhaps the temperature in the tires and just struggling for grip. A very brief yellow, and we are clear to go again. This is the first GT3 that we are going to encounter, and that is one of the McLarens. Hard braking again into turn 1, and that time we made it to the apex. It really is just a matter of braking early, especially if you don't have the grip in the tires. There is a car part right there, 2 of them. And we don't see a car on the side, so whoever it was able to drive away. Very close to the Cadillac there as we try to dive bomb into turn 8. Turn 9. Turn 10. Again, very sharp left-hander. Back behind the wheel of the number 93, and now we can see the Puegeot driving through traffic. There is one of the GT3 Mustangs. I believe this is the Iron Lynx Porsche. Iron Dames. There is our teammate right there in the number 94 Puegeot. As we are getting closer to him, think he got held back a little bit in the traffic. Again, the number 93 now in 14th place. That is the entrance into turn 8. Again, very heavy, hard braking, and a very sharp right-hander. Very complex and complicated turn. Just as turn 10 here, as we are going downhill, fighting for grip, into a closing radius left-hander. Coming in through turn 12, we are doing everything we can to keep up with the Jota Cadillac of Earl Bamber. There he is, just entering into 14 as we come underneath the banner. Now this is 9 laps into the race and the 9th lap in the stint. And you can see there that the GT3s are pretty well spread out. They're not really getting in the way here and slowing the race down. So I guess that should be a positive thing. Turn 2 there to the left. Turn 3. And so as we circle the track here with the trackside cameras, we get different vantage points of all these turns that we're making. And it is good to make a mental note of how these curves are as we are going to be driving here for the next 8 hours or so. Hopefully the Puegeot here does not expire. Very close to Earl Bamber here, coming out of turn 10. And yes, that is one of the things that we are watching out for here in this endurance race. It is 8 hours. We do expect cars to expire and retire. We are just hoping that it's not to the same level as the 24 Hours of Le Mans, where if you look back at the series available here on our channel at Driving Immersion, there were only 2 cars in the hypercar class at the finish. So hopefully there will be more cars here for us to conduct a race. Earl Bamber here going fairly fast here with the number 93. So both cars fairly matched. And we are racing close to him, and we have been for the last 5 laps or so. Being held back by the GT3 Mercedes, we are shoulder to shoulder with the Cadillac. You can see them in our rear view, and now he is pinched by the GT3 and we are ahead coming into turn 4. There as we enter into turn 8 once again. When you see the barrier wall on your right hand side disappear from your windshield view, that is when you start braking very hard. And you hold that brake and you trail brake all the way through turn 8. Trying to pinch off the Cadillac here again as he is very fast out of the exit of turn 10. This is turn 11 as we approach one of the BMW GT3s. Turn 12 here, and we are going to lift off the throttle just to put weight on the front tires so it can grip. This is turn 13. And now from the Cadillac of Earl Bamber, this is the number 93 Puegeot, just up ahead in 11th place. So very good movement here for the number 93 and in fact for the number 38 Cadillac just behind us. Very good movement up the field considering the very low traction here with the tire sets that we have. Both cars having at least 2 spins already in the race. And we are just about a little over 10 laps here. That was turn 6 and turn 7. Again, downhill into turn 8. Very, very slow approach. This time around from the cockpit, as we are looking at the steering wheel, we will again describe the information that's available on the steering wheel. On the upper right are the temperatures of the tires, the brakes, and the core of the tire, I believe, is there as well. So the Cadillac here is still a very good challenge coming into 4. Still very close to the number 93. We have not been able to drop him. And we have passed at least 4 or 5 cars already with him. So it's very possible that Earl Bamber may be our challenger for this race here in Bahrain. Again, still a long way to go. So we'll see how it is. He did expire in the very early morning at Le Mans behind the number 8 Toyota. So we're hoping that he has a very good race here and provides for us a challenge, as he is doing right now. Again, through 12 and 13, you can hear the tires squealing, just hanging on, and losing just enough traction. Quick look behind, and the Cadillac is still up with the Puegeot. Very heavy braking and locking up the tires here coming into turn 1. I think we were trying to hold our speed as much as we could, hoping to get away from this Cadillac, which is just as fast right now. And that would have caused some flat spots in the front tires. Unfortunately, right now during the stint, we don't have any communication from the driver. So we can't really get any feedback on what's going on with the car either way. So there is the barrier on the right hand side that we'll see disappear. Again, our marker for the hard braking into turn 8. And you can see here that you do go up a little bit until turn 9 here, where you're going downhill and downhill into turn 10. This is the sharp left-hander of turn 10. If you look very closely to the right-hand side there, you will see a drag strip here at the track in Bahrain. And that is why there are grandstands here along that stretch. The starting lights, or the Christmas tree, is just on the outside of turn 10 to the right. And perhaps we'll get another crane or helicopter view and we'll get to see the Christmas tree for the drag strip here. So in the background we got to see one of the Alpines. I believe that is the number 35 that we passed earlier. But way further back is going to be our teammate in the number 94. Very heavy and violent braking here again in turn 1. We did lock up the tires just a little bit, and we did overdrive turn 1, but not enough that the number 38 is going to be able to get around. And we do see Earl Bamber in our mirror, again locking up into turn 4. A big hit there from the Cadillac, and we are into the barrier in the Puegeot. Losing a lot of time to get the car pointed right. And right now we do have some extra wear on the right front tire. It's possible that could have been caused by damage. Following the Porsche into turn 10. Again, that could be something that could be improved here in Le Mans Ultimate. Although in the cockpit of the car, it's very hard to see any damage that may be on the car at all. But it would be nice to have it displayed on the HUD or somehow communicated from the pit lane. And I think that is the next frontier here for the race simulators, is to have a pit lane that's very active in the race. Perhaps providing information on track conditions or cars up ahead that are spinning out. Or perhaps communication about the car condition. For example, if you look there again, our right front has 64% life left. The left front has 79, and the rear tires have 82% life left. So the right front obviously has a lot of wear or perhaps damage to it. Now we have been locking up the tires a lot, and we do have a vibration, probably from a flat spot. It's possible that That could be caused by the right front. But we have to continue on here. This is 16 laps into the race and into the first stint. And with this much wear on the tire in the front, we are definitely going to be changing out of these when we come into the pits. It's very possible that there is front end damage here that's affecting tire wear, because the rear tires are actually still doing pretty well. But again, 82% on only just over 10 laps here is a lot of wear. And again, it could be due to the heat. We did have a better wear experience in the Le Mans series. So again, if we look at the tire wear, we are going to be changing out of these tires. And one of the things that we may do is we may reduce the air pressure if we do go on to another set of hard tires. Or we may choose to go with a set of mediums altogether. Another lockup coming into turn one. That is the Porsche right behind us. Trying to keep him out of tow here, coming into turn four. Very wide there for the 93. And there we are. We got to see the Porsche riding on the apron to the left, coming out of turn four, which is exactly what you're supposed to do. Driving through the GT3s once again. The number 93 there, very fortunate to get in and through before turn 8. He's going to be able to create a little space here between the 93 and the number 5 Porsche. Coming in through 14, we may be able to see from the cockpit here if there is a flat spot on the front tires, and we'll see a vibration in the steering wheel. Now there is a lot of vibration going on there, but I don't believe it was showing through the steering wheel. Just a bumpy part of the track when we are going fast. Again, we do not have communication with the driver right now. There is the Mustang and the Porsche GT3s once again. Very close here for the number 93. We have caught up to our teammate. Even after our spin. Oh, very nice pass there by the number 93 on the Aston Martin. A very tight number 10, and he was able to drive it through. Now again, we have, if you look around the track here, the sun is still pretty much very high in the sky. We do have our timing set at 1:1, so 1 hour is going to equal 1 hour of racing. And so the sun will set on this race, but it will happen very slowly and naturally. There is just a little bit of a golden glow now. I believe this race started at 4 o'clock. I believe the actual race starts at 2 or 2:30 in the afternoon here. Another spin there. I believe that was one of the GT3 Porsches. Nope, it's the blue BMW into turn 4. Again, very complicated in turn 4 as we are braking hard. It is a very wide exit, so you want to be able to carry enough speed there to make use of that apron on your left when you exit out. But more often than not, we are seeing here now that the cars just can't maintain the grip. We are back to the number 35 Alpine that we passed a long time ago, and we did lose our place to him as a result of a couple of spins. Very wide here as we try to dive bomb, and we just outbrake ourselves in the number 93. So he is driving very fast, putting a lot of pressure on these GT3s as he is able to accelerate out very briskly. Another spin here, and it looks like Earl Bamber in the Cadillac. Once again, yes it is. You can see there on the timing, he is now behind us. So another spin for Earl Bamber, and that time in 14. We are going to brake very late there, and with tires locking up, we are able to drive underneath the number 35 Alpine. Very quickly around these GT3s, brake very hard into turn 4, missed the apex by at least 4 or 5 feet. We did arrive on the apron to the left on the exit, which is what we're supposed to do. Touched the curb into 6 and 7. There is the barrier or the wall disappearing to our right, and we brake very hard into turn 8. We short shift so that we don't spin the tires on the exit. This is again turn 9 as we are going downhill into turn 10. Very wide this time around, and we are spinning over the curb. And with that spin, the number 35 Alpine gets back around, and we find ourselves back in the middle of the GT3 field. The Lexus once again, and the Corvette. The Corvette having a good race. Didn't have a lot of luck in Le Mans. And we do have our HUD up there. We are watching the wear very closely. We are now at 59% on the right front. So there is damage to the front end on the right front, and it is causing a lot of wear on that tire. Now when we get back into the cockpit, you'll see there on the steering wheel there is not a very distinct display for the virtual energy. It will show you how much we used per lap or on the previous lap. However, it does not show you on the steering wheel how much of a percentage we have left available for the stint. Another spin into and out of turn 4. Again, a very complicated corner. Back around is our teammate in the number 94 Puegeot. So I believe the difference in tire wear in the front may be causing us to have problems braking as well. And well, you'll have a button or a dial on the steering wheel to adjust the brake bias as you drive throughout the race. You will be changing that brake bias depending on the tire and the fuel and the air temperature conditions as the track changes. And just as we did in Le Mans, we will be changing the anti-roll bars as well on the fly. So there on the very left of the steering wheel, just slightly out of sight, the 3.54 that you see there is the percentage of virtual energy that we used on the last lap as we crossed the start-finish line. It was 3.54, and that is a percentage amount. The number 94 trying to dive bomb us into turn 4. The BMW back in the race. This is turn 6 and 7 and 8. Climbing up through turn 9 and going downhill. The racing here from the cockpit is very close and very exciting. Here at the Bapco 8 Hours of Bahrain. Driving through the start-finish line once again. The leaderboard display that you see there on the upper left does not have the live measurements for the virtual energy. For some reason in Le Mans Ultimate that is not recorded along with the gameplay or the race for replay, and in fact what we're seeing right here is actually the result of a replay mixed in with the live driving view. So this overlay or leaderboard that you see there on the upper left is only partially working. What you're seeing there with the live timing is actually working, but the virtual energy, all cars are at 100%, so it's not reading or recording the data as we circle the track. And hopefully that's something that can be fixed soon. And right now we are curious to see how everybody is doing on virtual energy. It did come about as a way to keep the cars regulated or balance their performance. Part of the BOP in World Endurance Championship. Some cars are more efficient than others, some cars are more powerful. But if you calculate the amount of energy that they can use to circle the track, that should just about equalize their performance. And that's why we have the balance of performance in the World Endurance Championship. It's also applied to the GT3s. very complex characteristics of the WEC series. We are now back up to the front watching a couple of the Toyotas coming through the GT3s. That is the number 50 Ferrari in the lead of these two Toyotas. This is 3, 4, and 5 on your screen coming in through turn 12. So for 2, 3, and 4, the closing is very race. However, Robert Kubica has checked out. That is the number 36 Alpine, and he has not entered turn 1 yet. And here is Robert Kubica coming up to turn 4, so a very fast car here for the number 83 Ferrari. Back to the 93 Puegeot of Mars Medina, back in 11th place, very wide there and off the course. Now very quickly on the lower right of your screen, we get to see there that there is 4.3 laps left of fuel and 3.5 laps left of virtual energy. There is damage in the front and more in the rear. Our right front, which has been the suspect tire, is down to 56% now. 56% life left. And with the subsequent spins that we've had, we are now down to 69 on the left rear, 72 on the right rear. So these tires are just about done. There is a yellow for the McLaren on the apron. With only 25 laps on these tires, that is quite a lot of wear. These laps are definitely a lot shorter than the laps that we are running in Le Mans, so these tires are just not doing well. Perhaps we have too much air, or we don't have the right setup to be running successfully on a set of hard tires. And as we look at the number 93, we know that there's damage in the rear and damage in the front. However, the damage model here for Le Mans Ultimate is not very detailed. Well, not very detailed visually, but when there is damage to the suspension, the steering wheel will be askew, and you can certainly feel it. Again, you can certainly feel the flat-spotted tires from the locking up in the braking zones. 55% now for the right front. There is our call into the pits. And right now, because we don't have communication with the driver, we don't know if that was set by the pit crew or by the driver. Right now we are certainly within the window of a pit stop, so it's very possible that Mars Medina may have called for the pits, struggling with this set of tires, just losing a lot of time now. Another lockup before we come into 6. And off into distance, we can see Earl Bamber in the Cadillac along with one of the Porsches. I believe that is the number 5. So even with the struggles that we are having on the set of tires, spinning at least a couple of times in a stint, we are still in the race. Now we got to see there on the HUD that we are making adjustments to the front anti-roll bars. That may help with the locking up under braking. Now we see some cars coming into the pits, but the number 93 is going to go around one more time. There is a number of cars in the pits now, refueling. Again, with virtual energy, that is the balance of performance. Very wide again into turn 4. Just barely hanging on to the right-hander. Totally outside of the apex for turn 8. And hopefully we'll make it into the pits this time around. Coming into 14, still struggling with these tires. Just very slow here, driving through 15, and it looks like this time we are coming into the pits for the number 93. A little bit of a lock up there just to get the car slowed down. Now something to note about the Puegeots, the green lights on the front come on when the speed limiter is on. Right now, very crowded in the pit lane. And with that, we'll end here at the end of the first stint. The first in the 8 hours of the Bapco Energies 8 Hours of Bahrain. We thank you for watching this race event at Driving Immersion. And remember, for more exciting racing ahead, give us a like and click on subscribe or follow so that you don't miss out on the next race event. We'll see you next time.